First contact and crisis. The vast expanse of space had always held mysteries beyond imagination, but none could have predicted the cataclysmic events that would unfold in the year 2235. It was on a seemingly ordinary day that humanity's greatest triumph and most terrifying challenge arrived simultaneously. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, lead scientist at the International Space Exploration Agency, ISEA, peered intently at the holographic display floating before her. The data streaming in from the deep space probes was unlike anything she had ever seen before. "This can't be right," she muttered, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Computer, run a diagnostic on all incoming signals." Diagnostic complete, the AI responded moments later. All systems functioning within normal parameters. Data integrity at 99.98%. Elena's heart raced as she realized the implications of what she was seeing. "Alert the director," she commanded. "We have first contact." Within hours, the news had spread across the globe. An alien vessel, vast beyond comprehension, had entered the solar system. As it approached Earth, messages began to flood every communication channel, translated into hundreds of languages. "People of Earth," the message began, "we are the Zarkani. We come seeking aid in our most desperate hour. Our civilization faces extinction, and you alone hold the key to our survival." The world watched in awe as the Zarkani ship took up orbit around Earth. Sleek and organic in design, it dwarfed even the largest space stations humanity had constructed. As global leaders scrambled to formulate a response, a small delegation was granted permission to board the alien vessel. Elena found herself among the chosen few, her expertise in xenobiology making her an invaluable asset. As she stepped onto the alien ship, she marveled at the biomechanical architecture that surrounded her. It was as if the entire vessel was alive, pulsing with an otherworldly energy. The Zarkani that greeted them were tall, ethereal beings with iridescent skin and eyes that seemed to contain galaxies. Their leader, introduced as High Emissary Zorax, bowed deeply before the human delegation. "We thank you for your willingness to hear our plea," Zorax said, his voice a melodious hum that seemed to resonate within Elena's very bones. "Our people are dying, victims of a plague that has ravaged our worlds for centuries. We have traveled countless light years, following ancient prophecies that spoke of a young race with the power to heal the stars themselves." As Zorax spoke, holographic images flickered to life around them, showing scenes of devastation. Entire planets lay barren, their surfaces scared and lifeless. Elena's scientific mind raced, trying to comprehend the scale of the disaster. "But how can we possibly help?" asked Dr. James Chen, Earth's leading epidemiologist. "Our medical technology is advanced, but to cure a plague that has defeated a spacefaring civilization." Zorax's eyes shimmered with what Elena recognized as hope. "It is not your technology we seek, but your very essence. Our scientists have discovered that human biology contains unique properties. Your adaptive immune systems, your cellular regeneration, even your gut microbiome, all hold the potential to combat our plague." The implications were staggering. Humanity, long considered a primitive species in the cosmic scale, might hold the key to saving an advanced alien civilization. But as Elena's excitement grew, a chilling thought occurred to her. What exactly would this cure entail? She asked, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Zorax's expression shifted, and Elena felt a wave of sorrow emanate from the alien being. "To synthesize a cure, we would require genetic material from millions of humans. The process would not be without risk to the donors." The human delegation erupted in a cacophony of voices, shock and outrage mingling with scientific curiosity. Elena remained silent, her mind working furiously to process the information. As the humans argued among themselves, a new alert blared through the ship. Zorax's attention snapped to a holographic display, his already pale features draining of color. "It cannot be," he whispered. "They have followed us here." Before anyone could ask for clarification, the entire ship shuddered violently. Through the viewport, Alina watched in horror as a tear in space itself seemed to open, disgorging a fleet of menacing vessels. The Vorthak, Zorax hissed, fear evident in his voice. Our ancient enemies. They seek to ensure our extinction, and they will not hesitate to destroy your world to achieve that goal. As if to emphasize his point, beams of searing energy lanced out from the Vorthak ships, impacting the Earth's atmosphere and creating massive disturbances. Storms unlike anything seen before began to form, and seismic activity spiked across the globe. In that moment, humanity faced an impossible choice: aid the Zarkani at great cost to themselves, or face annihilation at the hands of the Vorthak. As alarms blared and chaos erupted both on the ship and on Earth below, Alina realized that the fate of two civilizations now hung in the balance. Dr. Rodriguez took a deep breath, steeling herself for the challenges ahead. She turned to her fellow humans, determination blazing in her eyes. We need to get back to Earth immediately. If we're going to survive this, if we're going to save both our species, we're going to need every brilliant mind and brave soul our planet has to offer. As the human delegation rushed to return to their home, the Zarkani ship engaged its defenses against the Vorthak assault. The battle that would decide the fate of Earth, of humanity, and of an entire alien civilization had begun. Alina's mind raced with possibilities, both terrifying and exhilarating. Humanity had always dreamed of its place among the stars, but none had imagined it would come at such a cost, or with such monumental stakes. As their shuttle descended through the increasingly turbulent atmosphere, she allowed herself a grim smile. If the universe thought humans would go quietly into the night, it was in for one hell of a surprise. The time had come for humanity to show the cosmos what they were truly made of, and heaven help anyone who stood in their way. Human ingenuity unleashed. The world was in chaos. As news of the alien threat spread, panic gripped every corner of the globe. But amidst the fear and confusion, something remarkable began to emerge: the indomitable spirit of human resilience and ingenuity. Dr. Alina Rodriguez stood before the hastily assembled World Unity Council, her voice steady as she addressed the leaders of every nation. "We face a threat unlike any in human history," she began, her words broadcast to billions. "But in this crisis lies an opportunity, not just to save ourselves, but to take our place among the stars." As Alina spoke, screens behind her displayed the devastating effects of the Vorthak attack. Weather patterns were in chaos, tectonic plates shifted unpredictably, and the very magnetosphere of Earth seemed to be unraveling. "Our team has analyzed the Zarkani data," Alina continued. "Their plague and the Vorthak weapons operate on similar principles. They disrupt the fundamental forces that bind matter and energy. To combat this, we need to think beyond conventional science." Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a brilliant quantum physicist, stepped forward. "We propose Project Harmony, a global initiative to develop technology that can manipulate the fabric of space-time itself." Murmurs rippled through the assembly. It sounded like science fiction, but the situation demanded unprecedented solutions. "We'll need resources, manpower, and cooperation on a scale never before seen in human history," Yuki added. To everyone's surprise, it was General Sarah Hammond, known for her hawkish stance, who spoke up in support. "If we're going down, let's go down swinging. You have the full support of the world's military forces." As the council debated, Alina's mind drifted to the Zarkani ship in orbit. High Emissary Zorax and his people were fighting a desperate battle against the Vorthak fleet, buying Earth precious time. But how long could they hold out? The decision was made. Project Harmony would proceed, with every nation contributing their best and brightest. Weeks turned into months as humanity raced against time. Traditional borders and rivalries faded in the face of extinction. In laboratories, factories, and makeshift research centers across the globe, millions worked tirelessly. Alina found herself at the heart of it all, coordinating efforts between human scientists and Zarkani advisors. The alien technology was centuries beyond Earth's understanding, but human creativity and lateral thinking brought new perspectives to age-old problems. In a repurposed particle accelerator beneath the Swiss Alps, Yuki Tanaka and her team achieved the first breakthrough. They successfully created a microsingularity, a feat the Zarkani had thought impossible for a young race. "It's not stable yet," Yuki explained, her eyes alight with excitement despite days without sleep. "But if we can control it, we could theoretically counteract the vortex space-time distortions." Meanwhile, in the rainforests of Brazil, Dr. Carlos Oliveira made a startling discovery. The unique properties of certain plant species, when combined with human stem cells, produced compounds that could accelerate healing and enhance resilience to the Zarkani plague. "It's not a cure," Carlos cautioned, "but it could buy us time and reduce the number of human donors needed." As promising as these developments were, the situation grew more dire by the day. The Vorthak, realizing the threat that humanity posed, intensified their assault. Cities crumbled as gravitational anomalies tore through urban centers. The global food supply teetered on the brink of collapse as erratic weather devastated crops. In orbit, the Zarkani fought valiantly, but their numbers dwindled. During a rare moment of respite, Alina spoke with Zorax via holographic communication. "Your people's progress is nothing short of miraculous," the alien leader said, his form flickering as energy blasts rocked his ship. "But I fear it may not be enough." The Vorthak grow desperate. They speak of deploying a weapon that could tear your planet apart at the atomic level. Alina's blood ran cold, but she forced herself to remain calm. "We're close to a breakthrough, Zorax. We just need a little more time." As if in response to her words, alarms blared throughout the facility. Dr. Chen burst into the room, his face ashen. "Alina, we have a problem. The Vorthak have launched some kind of probe. It's headed straight for Earth's core." Screens lit up with trajectory projections. If the probe reached its target, the planet would be destroyed in a matter of hours. "Can we shoot it down?" Alina asked, already knowing the answer. Chen shook his head. "It's phasing in and out of normal space. Conventional weapons are useless." For a moment, despair threatened to overwhelm Alina. They had come so far, worked so hard. Could this be how it all ended? But then, a spark of an idea ignited in her mind. It was risky, borderline insane, but it just might work. "Get me Yuki and her team," Alina commanded, "and tell General Hammond to prep her best pilots. We're going to steal that probe right out from under the Vorthak's noses." As the facility erupted into frenzied activity, Alina allowed herself a grim smile. The next few hours would determine the fate of not just humanity, but of 2 alien civilizations as well. The plan was audacious, combining Yuki's experimental singularity technology with good old-fashioned human courage and piloting skills. As the specially modified aircraft took off, carrying a payload that could either save or destroy them all, Alina sent up a silent prayer to whatever might be listening in the cosmos. The battle for Earth's survival was entering its final desperate phase. But if there was one thing Alina had learned in her years of scientific pursuit, it was this. In the face of impossible odds, humans had a knack for doing the impossible. As the mission commenced, billions held their breath, hoping against hope that human ingenuity would once again prevail against the vast, uncaring forces of the universe. Alliance and resistance. The tension in the global command center was palpable as all eyes focused on the holographic display. A small fleet of experimental aircraft, each barely larger than a fighter jet, streaked towards the incoming Vorthak probe. At the helm of the lead craft was Colonel Aisha Kazmi, Earth's most decorated pilot. "Remember, people," Aisha's voice crackled over the comm, "we've got one shot at this. Let's make it count." Alina watched, her heart in her throat, as the squad approached the phase-shifting probe. The plan was insane. Use Yuki's micro-singularity technology to match the probe's quantum state, then physically grapple and redirect it. The risks were enormous, but it was humanity's only hope. Singularity drives spooling up, reported Dr. Yuki Tanaka from her station. Quantum synchronization in 3, 2, 1. The world seemed to hold its breath. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, impossibly, the aircraft shimmered and partially vanished from normal space, matching the probe's ethereal state. "We have a lock," Aisha shouted, initiating grapple sequence. What followed was a dizzying dance through dimensions. Aisha and her team struggled to maintain their grip on reality as they wrestled with the alien device. Alarms blared as the aircraft's systems were pushed far beyond their intended limits. "We can't hold it," one of the pilots cried out. "The strain is tearing us apart." Just when it seemed the mission would fail, a new voice joined the chorus. "This is High Emissary Zorax. We're moving to assist." The battered Zarkani flagship, disengaging from its battle with the Vorthak fleet, dove towards Earth's atmosphere. Beams of coherent energy lanced out, enveloping the human aircraft and the probe in a stabilizing field. With this unexpected aid, Aisha and her team managed to alter the probe's course. Instead of plunging into Earth's core, it arsed back up towards space, directly towards the Vorthak fleet. "All units, clear the blast radius," General Hammond ordered. Alliance and resistance. The tension in the global command center was palpable as all eyes focused on the holographic display. A small fleet of experimental aircraft, each barely larger than a fighter jet, streaked towards the incoming Vorthak probe. At the helm of the lead craft was Colonel Aisha Kazmi, Earth's most decorated pilot. "Remember, people," Aisha's voice crackled over the comm. "We've got one shot at this. Let's make it count." Elena watched, her heart in her throat, as the squad approached the phase-shifting probe. The plan was insane. Use Yuki's micro-singularity technology to match the probe's quantum state, then physically grapple and redirect it. The risks were enormous, but it was humanity's only hope. "Singularity drives spooling up," reported Dr. Yuki Tanaka from her station. Quantum synchronization in 3, 2, 1. The world seemed to hold its breath. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, impossibly, the aircraft shimmered and partially vanished from normal space, matching the probe's ethereal state. "We have a lock," Aisha shouted, initiating grapple sequence. What followed was a dizzying dance through dimensions. Aisha and her team struggled to maintain their grip on reality as they wrestled with the alien device. Alarms blared as the aircraft's systems were pushed far beyond their intended limits. "We can't hold it," one of the pilots cried out. "The strain is tearing us apart." Just when it seemed the mission would fail, a new voice joined the chorus. "This is High Emissary Zorax. We're moving to assist." The battered Zarkani flagship, disengaging from its battle with the Vorthak fleet, dove towards Earth's atmosphere. Beams of coherent energy lanced out, enveloping the human aircraft and the probe in a stabilizing field. With this unexpected aid, Aisha and her team managed to alter the probe's course. Instead of plunging into Earth's core, it arsed back up towards space, directly towards the Vorthak fleet. "All units, clear the blast radius," General Hammond ordered. Moments later, a blinding flash lit up the sky. The probe detonated among the Vorthak ships, the release of energy magnified by Yuki's singularity technology. When the light faded, a significant portion of the alien fleet had been reduced to subatomic particles. A cheer went up in the command center, but Elena knew the battle was far from over. The remaining Vorthak ships, though diminished, still posed a grave threat, and the Zarkani, having expended much of their remaining strength in this maneuver, were more vulnerable than ever. As the human aircraft limped back to Earth, Elena received an urgent message from Zorax. "Dr. Rodriguez, we must speak immediately. Recent events have changed things." Within the hour, Elena found herself aboard the Zarkani flagship, face to face with the alien leader. Zorax looked weary, his once vibrant skin now pale and translucent. "Your people have proven themselves beyond our wildest expectations," Zorax began, but I fear we have not been entirely forthcoming with you." Elena tensed, preparing herself for bad news. "The plague that afflicts us, it is not entirely natural. It was a weapon, developed eons ago in a war long forgotten. We thought we could control it, use it to transcend our physical forms. We were wrong." The implications hit Elena like a thunderbolt. "You created the very thing that's killing you." Zorax nodded solemnly. "And in our desperation to survive, we have now endangered your species as well. The Vorthak, they are not simply ancient enemies. They are the guardians, tasked with preventing the plague from spreading across the galaxy." Elena's mind reeled. Everything they thought they knew had been turned on its head. "Why tell us this now?" "Because," Zorax said, his eyes shimmering with a mixture of hope and fear, "I believe that together, we might find a solution that has eluded both our peoples for millennia. Your adaptability, your creativity, combined with our technology and the Vorthak's ancient knowledge, it might be our only hope." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the ship. On the view screen, Elena watched as a massive Vorthak dreadnought to cloak directly ahead of them. "They're hailing us," a Zarkani officer reported. Zorax straightened, squaring his shoulders. "Open a channel to both the Vorthak and Earth's leaders. It's time we laid all our cards on the table." The next few hours were a whirlwind of revelations, accusations, and tense negotiations. The Vorthak, led by the imposing Admiral Kovacs, were initially furious at the Zarkani's deception and humanity's interference. But as the full picture emerged, a fragile understanding began to form. "We have been locked in this cycle for too long," Kovacs rumbled, his voice like grinding boulders. Perhaps it is time for a new approach." It was Dr. Carlos Oliveira who proposed the audacious plan. Combining his breakthroughs in human-plant symbiosis with Zarkani biotechnology and Vorthak containment fields, they might be able to create a system that could neutralize the plague without destroying its hosts. The work would be dangerous, the outcome uncertain. But for the first time in eons, there was hope for a resolution that didn't end in extinction. As the unlikely alliance began to take shape, Elena couldn't help but marvel at the strange twists of fate. Humanity, in reaching for the stars, had stumbled into a cosmic drama beyond their wildest imaginations. And now, improbably, they found themselves not as victims or pawns, but as potential saviors. The real work was just beginning. Integrating three vastly different scientific paradigms would be a monumental challenge. The threat of betrayal or misunderstanding loomed large. And always, there was the ticking clock of the plague's spread and the damage already done to Earth. But as Elena looked around at the determined faces of humans, Zarkani, and Vorthak working side by side, she felt a surge of hope. Together, they just might rewrite the stars themselves. The universe, it seemed, had grossly underestimated the power of human tenacity and the strength that could be found in unlikely alliances. The turning point. The following months were a whirlwind of activity as the unlikely alliance between humans, Zarkani, and Vorthak raced against time. The combined scientific might of three civilizations, each bringing their unique perspectives and technologies, made for rapid progress, but also for spectacular failures. Dr. Elena Rodriguez found herself at the center of it all, coordinating efforts between the disparate groups. It was a monumental task, fraught with cultural misunderstandings and centuries-old mistrust. "No, absolutely not," Admiral Kovacs growled, his massive form looming over the holographic display. "We will not allow any form of the plague to be synthesized, even in a controlled environment." Zorax, looking more frail by the day, countered, "Without studying its fundamental structure, how can we hope to neutralize it?" Elena stepped in before the argument could escalate further. "What if we approach this from a different angle? Instead of focusing on the plague itself, let's look at why humans seem to be resistant." This became the new direction of their research. On a repurposed Vorthak science vessel in high Earth orbit, teams worked tirelessly to unravel the mysteries of human biology. Dr. Yuki Tanaka's quantum insights proved invaluable, suggesting that the very randomness of human genetic variation might be key to their resilience. Meanwhile, on Earth, the situation grew increasingly dire. The damage from the initial Vorthak attack had set off a chain reaction of environmental catastrophes. Coastal cities battled rising seas, while inland regions faced unprecedented droughts and storms. In the midst of this chaos, humanity showed its true colors. Stories of heroism and selflessness poured in from around the globe. In flooded Bangkok, a group of civilians used makeshift rafts to rescue hundreds trapped in high-rise buildings. In the scorched Australian outback, indigenous knowledge helped create oases of survival in seemingly uninhabitable conditions. These tales of human resilience made their way to the alien allies, leaving both Zarkani and Vorthak in awe of the species they had once dismissed as primitive. 4 months into the Joint Research Initiative, a breakthrough finally came. It was Carlos Oliveira, working with a young Vorthak biologist named Zextra, who made the critical discovery. "It's not just our genetic diversity," Carlos explained excitedly to the assembled team. "It's our microbiome, the countless microorganisms that live in and on our bodies. They form a kind of living shield, constantly adapting to new threats." Zextra chittered in agreement, her mandibles clacking. The plague works by rewriting genetic code, but the human microbiome provides a constantly shifting target, making full infection nearly impossible. The implications were staggering. If they could find a way to synthesize and enhance this microbial defense system, they might have a cure not just for the Zarkani plague, but for a host of other cosmic pathogens. But time was running out. The Zarkani were fading fast, and Earth's biosphere was reaching a tipping point. They needed a large-scale solution, and they needed it now. It was Yuki who proposed the audacious plan. "We use the singularity drive technology to create a massive controlled quantum field around Earth. Within this field, we can accelerate the development and distribution of our enhanced microbiome cure." "You're talking about manipulating the fundamental forces of reality around an entire planet," Kovacs rumbled, a hint of admiration in his gravelly voice. "The energy requirements alone." "We can do it," Elena interjected, her eyes shining with determination. "Humanity's power generation has taken quantum leaps in the past months. If we combine that with Zarkani bioreactors and Vorthak null-point energy taps, we have a shot." The plan was risky, borderline insane. One miscalculation could tear the planet apart. But with the stakes so high, they had no choice but to try. As preparations for Project Rebirth got underway, Elena took a rare moment of quiet to stare out at the blue marble of Earth below. So much had changed in so little time. Humanity had been thrust onto the cosmic stage, facing challenges beyond imagination. Yet here they were, not just surviving, but potentially saving 2 other civilizations in the process. Her contemplation was interrupted by an alarm from the medical bay. Zoraks had taken a turn for the worse. The Zarkani leader was fading fast, the plague's relentless advance nearing its final stages. As Elena rushed to his side, Zoraks grasped her hand weakly. "Elena," he whispered, his once melodious voice now raspy, "I fear I may not live to see the fruits of our labor. But know this, your people have given us something we had long lost. Hope." Tears welled in Elena's eyes. "We'll find a way, Zoraks. I promise you." As she watched the alien leader slip into unconsciousness, Elena's resolve hardened. They would make this work. They had to. The day of reckoning arrived all too soon. Massive singularity generators, a fusion of human innovation, Zarkani biotechnology, and Vorthak quantum manipulation, stood ready at strategic points around the globe. In orbit, a fleet of ships from all 3 races maintained a protective cordon, ready to intervene if anything went wrong. At the Global Command Center, now a symbol of interspecies cooperation, Elena took a deep breath. Beside her, Kovacs nodded solemnly, while a hologram of the comatose Zoraks flickered, a reminder of what was at stake. All systems are go, Yuki reported, her voice tense but steady. Initiating Project Rebirth on my mark. 3, 2, 1. Mark. The world held its breath as the quantum field sprang to life. For a moment, it seemed as if reality itself wavered. Then, a wave of energy swept across the planet, carrying with it billions of enhanced microorganisms, humanity's gift to the cosmos. As the initial reports began to stream in, Alina allowed herself a small smile. Against all odds, they had done it. The Zarkani plague was being neutralized. Earth's ravaged ecosystems were showing signs of rapid recovery, and humanity had proven that even in the darkest hour, their ingenuity and spirit could shine bright enough to illuminate the stars themselves. The battle was far from over, but for the first time since this cosmic drama began, the future looked bright. Humanity had not just survived first contact, they had thrived, forging alliances and pushing the boundaries of science in ways no one could have predicted. As celebrations erupted around her, Alina's thoughts turned to the challenges that lay ahead. There was a galaxy out there, full of wonders and dangers, and humanity, it seemed, was ready to take its place among the stars. The dawn of a new era had arrived, born from crisis and shaped by the indomitable human spirit. Whatever the cosmos had in store, Earth would face it united, not just as a planet, but as part of a grand alliance that spanned the stars. A new galactic order. 5 years had passed since the fateful day of Project Rebirth, and the face of the galaxy had changed in ways few could have imagined. Earth, once a backwater planet unknown to the cosmic community, now stood as a shining beacon of innovation and diplomacy. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the newly formed Galactic Cooperative, stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station. The massive space habitat, hovering at the L5 point between Earth and the Moon, served as neutral ground for representatives from 100 different species. Quite a view, isn't it? A familiar voice rumbled beside her. Admiral Kvax, his imposing Vorthak frame softened somewhat by years of peace, joined Elena at the viewport. "Sometimes I still can't believe it's real," Elena admitted, gazing out at the thriving activity around Earth. Ships of all shapes and sizes, representing dozens of civilizations, moved in carefully choreographed patterns. Kvax made a sound that Elena had learned to interpret as a chuckle. "Your people continue to surprise us. Who would have thought that your enhanced microbiome would become the foundation for a galactic immune system?" Indeed, the cure developed during humanity's darkest hour had proven to be far more than anyone had anticipated. Not only had it saved the Zarkani and healed Earth's wounded biosphere, but it had also created a new paradigm in cosmic health. Worlds that had been quarantined for millennia were now being restored to life. "Ambassador Rodriguez," a melodic voice called out. Elena turned to see Zorax approaching, his once frail form now vibrant with renewed life. "The council is ready to begin." As they made their way to the Grand Assembly Hall, Elena marveled at how far they had come. The alliance forged in crisis had blossomed into something beautiful. Humanity's unique perspective, unbound by millennia of cosmic politics, had helped bridge ancient divides. The Galactic Cooperative was more than just a political entity. It was a testament to what could be achieved when different species put aside their differences and worked together. Earth scientists collaborated with Zarkani biologists and Vorthak physicists, pushing the boundaries of knowledge in ways none of them could have achieved alone. But it hadn't all been smooth sailing. There had been setbacks, misunderstandings, and moments when it seemed the fragile peace might shatter. Humanity's rapid ascension to the galactic stage had not sat well with everyone. Some older races viewed the newcomers with suspicion or outright hostility. Yet time and again, human adaptability and diplomatic skill had turned potential disasters into opportunities for growth. When the warlike Drenthor Imperium had threatened war over humanity's expansion into a disputed sector, it was a team of human negotiators who had found a solution that left both sides satisfied. As Elena took her seat in the council chamber, she couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought them here. The faces around her represented the diversity of the cosmos, some humanoid, others utterly alien. Yet all were united in their commitment to a shared future. "This council is now in session," intoned the arbitrator, a being of pure energy that served as the impartial mediator. "Today, we discuss the proposal to establish the first intergalactic exploration initiative." Elena leaned forward, her heart racing with excitement. This was what humanity had dreamed of for centuries, the chance to push beyond the boundaries of the known, to explore strange new worlds and seek out new civilizations. As the discussion unfolded, Elena found herself drawing on all she had learned in the past years. She spoke of humanity's long history of exploration, of their insatiable curiosity about the unknown. But she also emphasized the lessons they had learned, the importance of approaching new frontiers with respect, humility, and an open mind. "We stand at a crossroads," Elena concluded, her voice ringing clear through the chamber. "Before us lies the greatest adventure any of our peoples have ever undertaken. Let us go forward not in competition, but in cooperation, not in fear, but in hope. Together, we can unlock the mysteries of the universe and forge a future brighter than any of us could imagine alone." A hush fell over the assembly as Elena's words sank in. Then, slowly at first, but with growing enthusiasm, approval rippled through the gathering. Species that had been bitter enemies for eons found themselves united in a shared vision of discovery. As the council voted overwhelmingly to approve the initiative, with Earth designated as a key staging ground, Elena felt a surge of pride and humility. Humanity had come so far in such a short time, yet their journey was only beginning. Later, as celebrations erupted across Earth and 1,000 other worlds, Elena found a quiet moment to slip away. She made her way to a small memorial garden tucked away in a corner of Harmony Station. Here, holographic monuments honored those who had given their lives during the crisis that had brought Earth to the galactic stage. Elena traced her fingers over the names, remembering the sacrifices that had made this new era possible. "We did it," she whispered to the silent stars, "and we're just getting started." As if in response, a brilliant streak of light blazed across the star-studded backdrop. The first of the new intergalactic exploration vessels, embarking on its maiden voyage to the unknown. Elena smiled, her heart full of wonder and anticipation. The universe was vast and full of mysteries, but humanity had proven they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. With allies at their side and an unquenchable spirit of adventure in their hearts, there was no limit to what they might achieve. The story of humanity among the stars was just beginning. And oh, what a story it promised to be.